Good morning and welcome to season 3, episode 19 of Valley Views. This is your host, Amanda Joy Christensen. For as much as I want today to be a somber Memorial Monday, I am totally celebrating along with the majority of Las Vegas as the Vegas Golden Knights essentially came back from a deficit of a 3-0 to a win last night for the Western Conference Finals and essentially won 5-3, and they are one game away from going back to the Stanley Cup. So it is like a super exciting Monday. I'm not going to write this episode about hockey because no, for as much as you all want to hear how much I love hockey, how much I love Vegas, I have a really awesome story planned, but I'm really just like want to take a moment, in all seriousness, and just say I'm really excited to show up again this week. Chris Randall's episode about his magic here for 30 years had such a positive impact. I had great results of other influential people here in the Valley wanting to be featured in interviews. So, as always, if you'd like to be featured or have your story shared on my platform, you can reach out to me via email at valleyviewsamandajoy@gmail.com, or just feel free to message me on social media. You can find me on Instagram at Amanda Joy Christensen or Valley.Views Podcast. Or you can find me on my LinkedIn, which is almost over 2,000 followers. It's almost doubled in a year, um, at Amanda Joy Christensen or AJ Angelella, which is my maiden name. Anyway, enough about me. I don't want to talk today about me. This past weekend, I had so much fun. I want to thank my friend Kiahi, who is a veteran. He shared something really special with me Friday night. He gifted me the opportunity to go see the Jonas Brothers. It was my third time seeing them, but my first time seeing them in Vegas, actually, which is weird to say because I've seen them in Jersey and Philly. Strange enough. But it was my first time seeing them in Vegas, and their residency was fire. Their music was fire. The dance songs were fire. The audience, the crowd. The last time I had seen a show at what is now the Dolby Theater, it was actually back in 20. Oh my God. It was back when Jason Aldean played there, and it was like the theater, and it was his first show back in Vegas after October 1. So that's how long it has been since I actually went out to see a concert there. Dolby Theater was beautiful. The energy, the vibe, everything about the night was just so much fun. Like it was a last minute thing, and I'm so glad I went. And Kiahi, just thank you for sharing that with me. Although you couldn't make it, I feel like your energy, your excitement, and just like the opportunity that you gave to me is what makes Las Vegas special. That sometimes, just because our friends can't be in places, we can still create experiences and make memories that will always create that special bond. So, also, thank you for your service in the military. It is Memorial Day, so in honor of those who have fought for our country, um, both of my grandparents fought in World War II. Both were actually awarded medals for different reasons. My grandfather laid the communication lines in Normandy, and also helped to liberate a concentration camp at the end of World War II in Auschwitz and free Jewish people and give them liberation. And to this day, I always look, although I did not serve in the military, I always take days like this to honor my grandfathers because without their service, and then ultimately their immigration to America, I would not be here. I would not be alive. I wouldn't have freedom of speech. I wouldn't even have a life. So I'm really just humbled and honored. Neither of my grandparents passed. My grandfathers passed in service, but they did serve during World War II to this country. And I just always find any time to honor someone in the military, it's by far the most simple thing you can do is just say thank you. Pardon me. Anyway. So, getting back to today's episode, I really just want to give everybody an idea. Um, this story is going to be about the birth of the American vacation. So over the weekend, I stopped by my favorite coffee shop at the Bend Mothership, and if you are not familiar, she has a great little library in there of a bunch of different books, and I picked up the American Travel, and these showcased travel writers throughout time, dating back as early as the 1800s, which I captured a story about the birth of the American vacation. So I just kind of want to share some fun notes on it, and I want to give you guys a little history lesson today on Valley Views. About how vacations began, especially coming out of Memorial Day weekend. I think a lot of people look at it as like it's just a long weekend to have um, the kickoff to summer, but it's so much more than that. Oh my God, Chicken Fried just came onto my ears, Zach Brown, one of my favorite songs. It's so funny. I always, if you guys are new to my show, I always listen to music when I record. I'm a music junkie, so I think it's funny. Zach Brown Band is another great band that always takes time to honor veterans in our country. So, Chicken Fried. Wait for a minute. Pretend I don't live in it. Sunshine gonna wash my blues away. I sing too. Okay. So the birth of the American vacation. It started in the spring of 1869. A Boston publisher wrote a book, William H. Murray. It was the first ever wilderness guide here in America, where he highlighted over 9,000 square feet of the Adirondack Mountains, which are profiled in upstate New York. His book wrote a guide to the city dwellers who needed to get outdoors to reset themselves, sort of like a health tonic, he called it. This was the American Romantic Age right after the Civil War. So the wilderness idea was created because city life sucks your soul. He described that living in a city often left people in chaos, confusion, running a rat race, sick from diseases because of overpopulation. And he had recommended through his guide that the wilderness would restore you. Being by the lakes, the rivers, the trees, the vast outdoors was exactly what city dwellers needed. Just 36 hours from Boston or New York, you could go. And in 1869, it was the first summer that resulted in a human stampede that forever changed history about how people vacationed. Think about it. Back then in 1869, this man just one day wrote a book telling everyone to go to the Adirondack Mountains. People then began preparing. They started getting together items that he recommended. A hotel went up in the area, and the first summer was known as the Murray Rush. However, what was unexpected is that summer was the wettest summer that the Adirondack Mountains had ever seen. So this human stampede ended up in mudslides, trees falling on them, completely overwhelmed and underprepared. The city dwellers who had everything drove 36 hours to somewhere in the mountains because some guy told them to with the Gilded Age travel guide, showed up with their little bit of stuff and found themselves in the most monsoon season of their life, the first American vacation. People mocked him. They ended up causing riots. People isolated him, and they were actually putting threats out on his life. People were so upset because of this experience that he actually had to write in the New York Tribune himself an apology publicly because he published something that he had no idea would result in a human stampede. The next summer, though, people got smart and people showed up again. This time, there was hotels and people had pool tables. So when too many people showed up, they charged by an hour just to let somebody sleep on the pool table. After 2 summers, Murray himself became what was an overnight success. By 1875, so just in under 6 years, from 1869 to 1875, over 200 hotels and campsites had then opened. And by the 1900s, what was once a summer resort of less than 3,000 people in 1869 would now flock to over 25,000 people and grow per year. This area became personally backed by the Vanderbilts, the Rockefellers, the Carnegies, the Huntingtons, and many other wealthy business people from New York who found vacating city life, especially in the summertime, to get away from the muck and the mire of it all, they could live a new life up in the Adirondacks. Much of Murray's documents helped outline costs, questions like, how do I get there? What do I do when I get there? How do I prepare food when I get there? Why am I even going there? Gilded Age travel guides became the ultimate original source to travel in America. And without Murray's Baroque mindset of writing a story that people could go and bring to life in their own life, would the American vacation even been born? So as I sat there reading this book Saturday afternoon at Mothership, I thought about I live in the most vibrant vacation destination in the world. And yet people come here for completely different reasons. It's actually not to go. I mean, yes, there are people who come to travel to the amazing parks and destinations and mountains we have here. But in the last 20 years, Vegas has become so much more of a big city that the little escapes that used to exist almost don't anymore. But the reality is, this state as a whole still has some of the most vast parks and infrastructure and private lands that the government protects and keeps preserved. And this is the funny part. Because of Mary publishing something that wasn't government regulated and the result of the human stampede that took place, it actually set groundwork to what created government policies around how hotels would be regulated, people could be served in areas, and how parks and natural places like the Adirondack Mountains and so on, places like Yellowstone, the Grand Canyon, and multiple national parks that have been preserved over time were protected because of Murray's negligence, because he just thought no one would take him seriously. With the careless mistakes that he made, the American people over time found that exploiting and building in nature actually defeated the purpose. So as I look around Las Vegas, I asked myself, as Red Rock now has homes creeping up the side of it, and as I'm sitting at the bend, which used to just be an open field where all the hot air balloons used to go up into the air, and I would watch them from my house on Torrey Pines. And nothing was out there. And I laugh because at what point has Las Vegas lost the outdoor side, the rugged side of it, what made the nature side of it so much more accessible? It seems like the more that we're building and the more that we're creating, it's awesome. But the reality is, the experiences that people crave no longer revolve around necessarily hiking out in the desert as, weather is going to hit astronomical heat waves this summer. So creating spaces like indoor immersive experiences and indoor recreational things, people are finding ways to come to Las Vegas beyond. But I laugh about all of this because Murray was the very first person who ever took a chance in America to write about an idea of what something could be. If he never sat down in 1869, a broke guy with a dream, would anyone have, even in the city, started putting dollars anywhere else? Would the Rockefellers really had cared about what the idea of taking a break would have been? And although over time vacations have become more and more expensive, places like national parks and even a city like Las Vegas that has more parks available per capita, it continues to be a place where you can get outside. I spent 3 consecutive days this week with my kids at some different park, whether it was a water park, whether it was just Western trails with the wild peacocks. There's always something fun to do out here. So I challenge you, the next time you come to Las Vegas and you're maybe just here to hit a jackpot on the strip, I needed to rock my Golden Knights hat and make a joke. Think about taking a drive, maybe over to another side of Las Vegas, where the nature kind of stands out and the flowers bloom and the wild horses roam. Although it's not as accessible as it was 10 to 15 years ago, there's still so much to do here that kind of makes a Murray vacation possible, even if you're a city slicker. That was all I wrote for Murray's thing. So I hope you enjoyed that little piece of history here on Valley Views. I wanted to just take a few more minutes to kind of summarize, the vision that I have moving forward for my show. As I continue to profile and interview guests, every video that I put out, if it is a interview episode, particularly around a guest, those will truly just be dedicated to you. I have people that have been reaching out to me if they want to do an in-person interview. I love the idea of that. I could appreciate that. But with my platform, what I enjoy is sending you the opportunity to write about yourself and me just write it for you. This almost gives the opportunity for you to hear something great about you for the first time that in an interview setting, you might just feel too pressured to answer a question rather than just enjoy what somebody has to say. As every little piece and memory builds moving forward in your day, I hope you just take time to remember that no matter where you are, you can always change your valley view. You can always get a new perspective, and you can always meet someone new. There's a few things moving forward too that I want to make sure everyone knows that this will continue to be a platform where anyone can come and share their viewpoint. I don't care what you identify as or who you are or what you look like or what your job title is. But if you have a story of resilience, if you have a story of comedy, if you have a story of humor that can inspire somebody here in Las Vegas and beyond, Valley Views is no longer just being streamed amongst the listening ears of Las Vegas. This show hits 50 international countries a month, which gives also people the opportunity to hear about your brand, your inspiration, and get to know you, a different person here in Las Vegas or in hospitality that makes it great. So many people often cut their budget for travel in times of war, in times of despair, in times of economic crisis. But think about it. Is really not taking the time to reset your mind and do something you love, it's only going to steal and it's only going to steal the joy away in life. This weekend, I didn't know I was going to a concert, but when the opportunity came up, I said yes. Because the truth is, I don't know if I'll ever get to see the Jonas Brothers again. And I think about for all the years I lived in Las Vegas, it was sometimes in those last minute moments where somebody called me or texted me and said, something came up. Are you there? I would just say, yeah. Because going all in means showing up even if you don't want to. Just like here on Valley Views. Some Mondays I'm crying and complaining, and some Mondays I'm just telling you stupid stories about Murray. But the point is, the dedication and the consistency to my brand has now allowed so many people to be inspired. And the handful of people that I connected with over this weekend back in Jersey, hella cool, especially growing up on the East Coast. Although I don't live there anymore, I now have people that I met in real life that will continue to follow what's going on. And the next time they come back to Las Vegas, who knows? They might look me up or I might just be able to give them a recommendation on what's cool. As the Golden Knights get ready tomorrow night to take on the Colorado Avalanche, I just want to wish our team the biggest luck. This season has by far been one of the most underdog seasons for the Vegas Golden Knights and for me. But I remember in the beginning of this season, franchise number 9, season 9, I said it's going to be one where you're feeling fine. And at the end of all of this, um, there was one moment I got to spend my birthday with the Golden Knights this year, and I got to ring the bell for Women's History Night. Excuse me, the siren. Sorry, I'm from Philly, so I'm used to saying bells. But I got to ring the siren for Women's History Night. And in that moment, I just remember standing in front of the entire crowd and looking down on the ice and just thinking, without this hockey team, so many people wouldn't be proud to call Las Vegas home. And so many families wouldn't have moments to make like I did with mine last night. We went to our local favorite spot, Evolve. I took my mom and kids, and we went and watched the game with all the other families. And even my 2-year-old daughter at one point stood up screaming, Knights, hockey, Knights. And I just remember when hockey first came to Las Vegas, I envisioned what my life would be like raising a family with hockey here. And now that I am, it's way better than ever. And just to make some special moments as a local Las Vegas leader, as a woman of impact and just a freaking die-hard Golden Knights fan, I will forever, forever love this franchise. A couple cool things I want to share because you know I'm a total dork. The movie Valiant, if you've never seen season one, oh my God, I'm not good at this. Okay, Valiant. If you've never seen this movie, this is about basically how the franchise was born. This movie is absolutely beautiful, powerful story of the Vegas Golden Knights in their very first year of existence. Their healing unified the city after the war's mass shooting, and then took an predecessor, I can't say the word, run for the Stanley Cup. It features personalized interview with Derek Englund, my absolute favorite player. Oh my God, I know, guys, I'm being a dork today. Okay, Derek Englund bobblehead, my Derek Englund bobblehead. Okay. Outside of my memorabilia, my other favorite thing to just acknowledge about the Golden Knights are all my personalized pucks. Um, that I got. I think one of the best things about this team is they've always been a team for the community. Even 9 years in, I love seeing pictures of the players in the community. I love that there's always a way to feel a part of the team. And something I saw this morning on one of the guy interviews, I'm going to repeat what they said because the guy said it right. The guy said, the most unique thing about Vegas is it took a village. They weren't just a hockey team. It's the community spirit and the fandom and the energy and the magic that we all bring. Um, that makes this hockey team great. It's literally not about the players' names on the back. I think it's about more of the logo on the front, and that was something in the very beginning that you adopt as a fan for any team. The players will change, but what the vision and the team emblem stands for is to always advance and always move forward. They were the most underdogged franchise team in the NHL history, and in their season nine, just hit records that the NHL has never even seen. So I'm continuously proud to be a Golden Knights fan. Even when I go out of state, I have a tattoo too. People think I'm crazy. Apparently they're the most hated team in the NHL. I don't care because I live in the territory where everyone loves them, but it's just one of the most beautiful team fan groups to be a part of. And the last thing I will add is ever since I started going, I always went to games alone. And anytime I ever went with someone, it was horrible or they stood me up. So I always just go alone until I had my son this year go with me. And yesterday, he literally said to me, Mommy, we're gonna go to the stadium to watch the game, right? I'm like, bro, you're 4. He's like, I only want to go if we're in the stadium. And I'm like, well, listen, we're not that rich yet, but down the line. And I laugh because forever, the rest of my life, I'm gonna have a little bud to go with. My son Derek, also named after Derek England, and even my daughter Daria loves the sport, and I think it's something that no matter what, um, if I'm sitting in my local brewery or at home watching the game, or I'm just in the arena, the spirit of the Vegas Golden Knights is something that can't be unmatched. And to finally live out my dream of being a mom here in the city with kids who get to love the sport, I'm forever blessed. So go Knights go. It's enough about me. Guys, June 1st, I have a huge article rolling out, so I cannot wait to reveal where that's going to be. You're going to be seeing me continuing this podcast, continuing to elevate stories around Las Vegas, continuing to showcase amazing, unique events in hospitality. I have a new gig I'm working on, so there will be some opportunities to see some new content as well. And forever and always, when I started Valley Views, I was in my lowest of lows, in my darkest of times, with my back against the wall in so many ways. And I just listened to what God put in my heart. And I stuck with my plan and I continue to show up every week to inspire someone else, save a life, and just to change a viewpoint here in Vegas and beyond. So I'll catch you guys on the next episode of Valley Views and go Knights go!